Hello YouTube, welcome again to my channel. I am Promethea, the Tyrannosaurus girl. This is another video on my series Ask a Trans Woman, and the question I'm answering today is what's the difference between transgender and transsexual? The answer to this question is not as clear-cut and as simple as we would like it to be, because the meanings assigned to this word and the usages have been changing over the years, and some people are still wanting to change it another time because we are not exactly satisfied with the current most accepted meaning. The legacy definitions, if you will, that are still in use by some people, even though they are not generalized anymore, define the difference between transgender and transsexual as to whether or not they had sex reassignment surgery. A transsexual person is that person that already had sex reassignment surgery, and a transgender person would be one that still hasn't got it. Those meanings are still in use in Portuguese and Spanish and probably in other languages, and they are very problematic. First of all, because it seems to establish two different categories of trans people, where some trans people are trannier than the other, and that's really not right. I mean, everybody has different experiences. We have different needs in regards to a transition. There are different ways of being transgender, and none is better than the other or truer than the other, and definitely none of us is more trans than another person. And it seems to indicate that there is a path towards sex reassignment surgery, like if everybody is following that path. And as I've mentioned in the previous video, that is not true for a lot of people. There are many people that don't want or can't have sex reassignment surgery, and this is even more true for trans men, because the options that they have for genital related surgeries are complicated. They have two options that have different advantages and some very big disadvantages, so it ends up being a very difficult choice for them, and that leads to many more trans men deciding not to undergo genital surgery in comparison to trans women. Maybe for some other video I can invite a trans man to help me explain those surgeries and what they imply from their point of view. But you cannot define someone as still not having had the surgery when for many people that's not in their future at all. And also, by taking one of these labels, whether transsexual or transgender, we are displaying publicly the state of our genitalia, and nobody cares about that. I mean, some people care, but they really shouldn't. It's none of their business. You watching this video, think about it. How is your life any different by the genitals I have? It doesn't affect your life at all. The only people who care about my genitalia are myself, my partner, and my doctor. Period. Nobody else needs to know about it. So there is no need for me to put a label on my forehead saying what genitals I have. And those definitions also leave out a lot of different people that don't necessarily fall into any of those previous definitions. I'm talking about people who have a non-binary gender identity, and that describes from cross-dressers, androgynous people, genderqueer, gender fluid, and even intersex people. Those people are not necessarily defined by gender identity, but by the intersex condition, which is actually a group of different possible medical conditions that determine that they are born with sexual characteristics corresponding to both sexes. And to address that is that in the last few years we have been using transgender as a sort of umbrella term that encompasses all of those different experiences, as well as specifically the experience of transsexual people, being defined then as someone who was assigned a certain gender at birth but identifies with the opposite gender, with a binary experience of gender. Those definitions are better than the first two. They are more acceptable, they are widely accepted today, but some of us don't like them and would like to change the meaning one more time, because we specifically don't like the label transsexual because of the connotations that it seems to have. Whenever you say transsexual, most people immediately think of sex and genitals. That's what's on their mind. As I have explained on previous videos, gender identity is not always related to genitals and is not related at all to sexual attraction. But that's what people think of. If most people didn't have their mind in the gutters, maybe I would feel different about the label, but that's the reality. And because of that, some of us that would be labeled as transsexual prefer the label transgender. But that leaves us with a question: if we take transgender to ourselves, then what is the umbrella term that we are going to use? Some people simply say trans. Some people say trans with an asterisk at the end, but I'm not sure how you would pronounce that, and many people don't like that because of a variety of reasons. So we are in this process of looking for new words to accurately describe our experiences without sending any wrong messages about it. So to sum it up, as the original meaning, transgender and transsexual are differentiated by transsexual people having had sex reassignment surgery. Then we have transgender as this umbrella term to describe all experiences that are not cisgender, and transsexual being specifically for binary trans people that identify with the opposite gender of what they were assigned at birth. Personally, I prefer to identify as transgender, even though transsexual is also acceptable. I get that this subject is not exactly clear sometimes because it is going through some changes. I still hope that I was able to answer your question. I'm looking forward for your comments, your thoughts, and also your questions. Remember that you can send me your questions via Facebook, via Twitter, via Ask.fm, and also right here in the comments. Remember that you can ask me any questions. You will not offend me by asking a question. On the contrary, I prefer that you ask me. This is a safe space for asking questions, for clearing any doubts that you may have, for satisfying your curiosity. Ask me the questions that you would not ask a trans person on the street. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, subscribe to my channel. You will receive new videos every Friday. If you go to my channel, you will also be able to watch the previous videos that I have posted. Again, thank you very much for watching, for sharing this video, for helping me reach more people. I will see you next week. Bye bye.